Can you remember how to do this? It's our first one in 2017.
I know. At least it's a good one.
Yeah. A lot of pressure, though. A lot of pressure. I don't know. It might top that USC Penn State game, so.
We might see some of these All-Americans.
I know.
In the Rose Bowl soon.
In the Rose Bowl. Maybe for USC even, you know?
All right, we are live. Happy New Year to everyone out there with Zack Poff. I am Steve Montoya. We are breaking down our All-American teams. And Zach, we got a lot of All-American teams coming out over the next. You can go to MaxPreps right now and see the overall All-American teams. But we got medium, small, sophomore, freshman, you name it, we got.
Juniors. We got them all coming. Juniors will be tomorrow. Sophomores the day after, freshmen the day after that. So we're going to keep feeding you some big-time info with all these All-Americans. And, Spro, let's cue up the first team offense All-American team. We got some PTPers, as my guy Dickie B says. You got Tate Martell and Sean Robinson at quarterback, Najee Harris and D. Swift at running back, also Jalen Warren. The list goes on and on the offensive line. I would love to be a quarterback and have those five guys blocking for me, led by Wyatt Davis and Walker Little. I mean, those are some big-time guys. You also got Tim Tala from Oregon, and Cam Akers had a monster year, over 5,000 yards of total offense. We ain't going to forget about the kicker either. Brandon Ruiz, first-team kicker.
You know, we saw last night, kickers are pretty important.
They are.
All right. So, Zach, let's talk about how these teams are picked a little bit. And I like our All-American teams because unlike the All-Star games that we're seeing on TV, these are All-Americans based on what they did in high school, not potential at the college level. So, Spro, let's come back here. We want to hear your comments. If you think a player maybe we missed, if you have any questions about release dates, for sure.
It's so hard to pick two teams for the entire country. Like, there are some big-time playmakers that were left off. I mean, it was very tough deciding. Me, along with Mitch Stevens and Kevin Asklin, we all kind of picked these teams, so it was tough.
All right, let's go ahead and look at some of the players making our list. And if you're an Ohio State fan,
this will cheer you up. I know you're not happy right now.
After your performance there the other day, you're going to be happy you're getting one of the best in All-American, Tate Martell.
Look at him. He can leap over guys and take it to the house, running the rock. I mean, Tate had a big-time year. He had over nearly 4,000 yards of total offense. Now, Tom Brady set the NFL record with a 28-2 touchdown to interception ratio. Tate thought that was cute because he had 41 touchdowns to only one interception during his senior season. He also ran for 21 rushing touchdowns. But the thing that really put Tate over the edge, in my opinion, is they had the toughest schedule this year. They beat two top 6 teams, St. Thomas Aquinas and St. John Bosco, 2 teams that won state titles. They also beat Cedar Hill to start the season in Texas. The only losses Cedar Hill had this year was to Bishop Gorman and DeSoto, the top 2 teams in the final rankings. And icing on the cake for Tate Martell and Gorman, they beat a very, very good Liberty team in the Nevada 4A State Championship, 84-8. Tate Martell had a phenomenal year. He had 62 total touchdowns. He's a first-team quarterback on this squad, along with Sean Robinson for DeSoto, also had a big-time year.
Yeah, that's for sure. All right, and they are our national champions as well. That's Bishop Gorman right there. And their comments are coming in, and one of these comments says Cam Akers, and we would be foolish to leave off Cam.
Who's the next guy we have on our script?
It just happened to work out just perfect. So let's talk about Cam. What makes him so special?
Listen, he was right there in consideration too with Tate Martell and Charlie Brewer and Sean Robinson for Player of the Year. So it was a close race for that. We'll be coming out with that later today. Now, he's a 5-star running back, but he played quarterback this year for Clinton. He had over 3,000 yards passing, had over 2,000 yards rushing, and Steve, he had 65 total touchdowns. Not bad. I don't think my entire fantasy football team had 65 touchdowns. More importantly for Akers, though, he led Clinton to a 13-1 record. He also won the state title in Mississippi's largest classification. Now, Florida State, I know Dalvin Cook's going pro, but you got Cam Akers coming to town now. So he's going to be a guy, I think, that can make an impact as a true freshman based off what we saw from his 4-year career at the high school level, especially his senior season. And Steve, don't be surprised if this guy holds up a Heisman Trophy at the next level. This kid is going to be a big-time playmaker for the Seminoles as he was for Clinton High School. And, man,
yeah, he's the real deal. And you got to love the coach there for his school. If you have Cam Akers, he's got to touch the ball every play, so put him at quarterback.
Just let him play quarterback. He threw for 3,000 yards, too, so he showed that, hey, maybe we'll do a little Wildcat, Jimbo Fisher down at Florida State. We'll see.
Yeah, all right. So our MaxPreps overall All-American team can be seen right now, the full list on MaxPreps.com. So make sure you check that out. And throughout the next few weeks, we're going to be releasing more and more All-American teams on MaxPreps. And then as we lead up to our National Signing Day coverage as well. All right, a few more comments have come in. Before we get to those, though, let's go ahead and talk about one of the top wide receivers in the country. And you really like this guy, and he made some amazing plays all year long. Let's talk about Mr. DPJ.
Donovan Peoples-Jones. This kid is big time. He led Cass Tech to the D1 state title in Michigan. He finished the year with over 1,000 yards receiving, had 17 touchdowns. He also had a few punt return touchdowns, made some plays on defense, and he was also named the Gatorade High School Football Player of the Year in the state of Michigan. And speaking of Michigan, that's where he's going to be playing college football. But, man, when you put on the film of DPJ, you instantly see his playmaking abilities. He's the #1 wide receiver in the 2017 class. When this kid gets his hands on the rock, he can even do front flips when he goes into the end zone, as you're going to see right here. Maybe we cut it off right there, so we didn't. But he's a big-time playmaker. And, Steve, another receiver I wanted to hit on real quick was T. Higgins. He was another first-team wide receiver. And T. Higgins, man, this kid is automatic when it comes to making plays. He had over 1,000 yards, 13 touchdowns, just like DPJ, big-time playmaker. And he also makes some plays on defense this year. Now, he's committed to a team that's playing next Monday, the Clemson Tigers. And in my opinion, they've really become the wide receiver you've had guys like Sammy Watkins, DeAndre Hopkins, Martavis Bryant, and even Mike Williams this year. And I think Higgins will keep that trend going when he goes to Clemson. A big-time playmaker out in Tennessee at Oak Ridge High School.
Yeah, and as we saw last night with the Rose Bowl.
Yeah, we can talk about that, too. I was pretty happy watching that. So.
Well, it just shows you the importance of having a playmaker at wide receiver that you can just count on to throw the ball, and Donovan Peoples-Jones, T. Higgins, those are two playmakers right there.
Michigan had a little bit of not a high-powered attack on offense. DPJ is going to help solve that problem, and he's also a big-time playmaker when it comes to special teams too. So these kids do more than just at the wide receiver position. And when you're talking FC, I know you're talking Juju Smith and Deontay Burnett. They had some big games.
Oh, they had some nice games. Nice game last night. All right, let's pull up our defensive graphic, and just remember now, you can go to MaxPreps.com. You can see the full list. We break down why these guys made it. We also get into our second teams. And then later today, we're going to have our National Player of the Year, and then more All-Americans coming out throughout the week. Zach, what stands out to you here? All of them stand out, but what catches your eye here?
If I was a quarterback, you look at that D-line, you got Jalen Phillips, a kid that almost had 20 sacks, Chase Young from DeMatha, Haskell Garrett, and Aubrey Solomon. Those are guys I would be afraid of if I was playing quarterbacks, and big-time playmakers. The linebacking core is led by Dylan Moses, an Alabama commit. He's one of the best linebackers in the country, played his senior season at IMG. Anthony Hines, also a big-time playmaker, had over 200 tackles for the second consecutive year. But the secondary is what I got my eyes on. You got Bubba Bolden, Jacoby Stevens. Both those guys combined for 16 interceptions this year. You also got Sean Wade from Trinity Christian, Isaiah Pola-mao, the nephew of Troy Polamalu, D'Angelo Gibbs, who we saw commit at the Under Armour All-American game to Georgia, one of the best players in the state. He does it all, but he's probably going to be a safety at the next level. And also Brian Delaney coming in. He's going to be kicking the ball, punting for the defensive team. So it was tough for these first-team guys. A lot of good guys left off. Jamias Williams, Grayson, also with D'Angelo Gibbs. He didn't make the first team. He was well-deserving also. But, a lot of good players left off. But I felt those were the guys that really should be on the first-team defensive squad.
Yeah, let's talk about the kid from Arizona here. So if you could pull up
Isaiah pola-mao.
Yeah, and the fact that he finished his senior season with 10 interceptions, that is making some plays on defense.
And not only did he just have the 10 INTs, he took 3 back to the house also. And, you know, if you're related to Troy Polamalu, you're going to be a big-time DB.
Yeah.
Now, Steve, the crystal ball has him actually going to Washington. He's uncommitted right now. But, I mean, Unk played at USC. So we'll have to wait and see. But this is the type of plays he can do.
Ooh,
I mean, you don't want to be running over the middle with that guy. And he's going to be nice at the next level. And a great high school career out in Phoenix, Arizona at Mountain Point High School. The kid is a ball hawk, as you see with the 10 interceptions.
All right, so we're going to leave it at that for now. That's the MaxPreps All-American teams. You can see the full list right now on MaxPreps.com. Plus, Zach has a video on there breaking down more individuals. And like we said throughout this so far, more and more teams coming out from the big schools to the small schools to the underclass. A lot coming out on MaxPreps over the next few weeks.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. So stay tuned to that. We'll have the juniors breaking tomorrow, the sophomores on Thursday, and everybody wants to see who the young studs are. Freshmen will be Friday. So we'll be coming out with all that. So just stay on MaxPreps.com.
Yep.
Keep on clicking on, huh?
That's for sure. All right, that's Zack Poff. I'm Steve Montoya. The MaxPreps All-American teams are starting to get released. Check it out right now on MaxPreps.com.